We say thank you for the gift of life and thank you for bringing all of us here for this lesson. As we start the lesson, I pray that you help us, that there will be good connection and we'll understand everything that teachers teach, and that we'll be able to apply it and we'll be able to pass if questions are asked on it. We pray that you give all of us good network so that we don't get lost in the middle of the lesson. Thank you for everything you've done for us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Hello.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you. Wonderful.
Hello.
Good morning, girls, once again. We are continuing with our lesson on statistics. And the other week we covered, the other 2 weeks we covered how to draw a pie chart, how to draw a bar graph, how to collect information from different areas, tablet that information meaning getting tables, so that you put that information at different tables. Then from the tables, then you're able to draw either a bar graph, you're able to draw a line graph, a pie chart, a compound bar graph or compound line graph, comparative, and you can go even to an experiment of drawing the proportional circles or proportional semicircles, but that is at a different level. Currently, we are still looking at how to draw a bar graph, a pie chart, and then the line. So today we are going to cover the line, how to draw a line. But before we look at how to draw a line, can somebody give us a summary how to draw the pie chart? Then I'm supposed to give us how to draw a bar graph. Just a simple summary. Yes, Chirabo Hope.
When drawing a pie, yes, when drawing a pie chart, it's best you draw, after gathering your information, you change all the information you've gotten into degrees by getting the total and then getting the number, dividing it by the total and multiplying it by 360 degrees to give you the degree. And if it comes out as one that has a decimal point, you round it off. And then now when drawing the pie chart, it's best to draw something that is like, has the radius of 8 centimeters, so that it is big and it has to like take 3/4 of the page. Yeah. Now when starting your pie chart, you draw the radius line from the center to the circumference vertically. Yes, vertically. And it's best when you're starting, when you're like putting all your degrees on the pie chart, you move clockwise direction and you start with the biggest to the smallest. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Chirabo, for that elaborate explanation. Yes, Chirabo Pal. Yes, Chirabo Pal.
I'm going to do a bar graph.
A bar graph, okay.
So with a bar graph, once you're given the information, you first come up with a title. Then a bar graph is supposed to be drawn on a graph paper. Whether you're supposed to stick it in a book or anything, it's supposed to be drawn on a graph paper because of the different segments or divisions that they have already created. So you draw the vertical and horizontal axis.
Okay.
And mark off with a scale that you have chosen. You mark off on the vertical axis and label. Putting in mind that the corner where the y-axis and x-axis meet is the your zero. And when you're after labeling, then you also put maybe it's what it represents, maybe the population of a school or something like that. When you're drawing, then you start drawing maybe your first bar, but you don't start on the exact line. You leave some space before drawing your first bar. The bars should not be joined. They should have little space between them, and everything that you write should be written horizontally and not vertically or diagonally. Once you're finished allocating, like putting your bars on the bar graph, on the other side, it should also be enclosed. And what is written on this side of, on the left side of the vertical axis is what should be written on the right side. Then you should also make sure that you shed your bars after drawing the bar graph.
Thank you so much, Paul Chirabo, for that elaborate work. Thank you so much. Yes, I will defy you.
I have a question. When
Yes.
you're writing, okay, on the horizontal and vertical axis, those when you're labeling like name of houses, then population of students, then like the houses of course, Cox, Chief, you write it in pen or pencil?
You're supposed to use, when you're writing, you use a pen. When you're drawing, you use a pencil. Okay, the drawings must be in a pencil, or the writings must be in ink. So use a pen.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I need someone to guide me how to draw a line graph, because for me, I don't know how to draw a line graph. I need somebody to assist me. How do we draw a line graph? I want somebody to assist me. I don't have information and have anything. Yes, Chirabo Hope. Chirabo Hope.
Teacher, I just think you have to start with the title, and then you also have to change that. Okay, first get the degrees. You get the total of the percentage score in drama competition. You get the number, divide by the total and multiplied by the degree, giving you the degrees, and then on the graph paper, you have to start with the title. Yes, please.
How are you supposed to do a line graph, not a pie chart? You're telling me to convert figures.
Oh, sorry.
I'm talking about a line graph, and you're converting figures. Okay, line graph. Continue. Oh, I've lost. Okay, Chirabo Pal. Chirabo.
I think that a line graph is basically like a bar graph, but only that instead of bars, you use lines. So the procedure is the same, I think. So you first get the title and the scale that you're going to use. Then you draw the vertical and horizontal axes. Then the 0 at the corner, and then you mark off on the vertical axis. Then you label maybe what they represent. Let me use the same example as a population of students in a school.
Okay.
So if on your horizontal axis you have maybe houses, each house should be written horizontally, but under, like above the houses, you maybe, if Cox maybe has 100 students, you should find 100 on the vertical axis, and also kind of connect it to the horizontal to exactly where Cox meets, something like that, and then maybe put a star and then draw a line so that it shows that that number is for Cox, and you continue the same procedure with other houses. I think that's how it's done.
Okay, thank you for that. Thank you so much. Can I have another person to contribute apart from Chirabo? Any other person? Please, I need another person. How to draw a line graph? Yes, Nalule. Nalule.
Yes, teacher.
Go ahead.
I'm trying.
Okay.
On our graph, draw lines perpendicular to each other, intersecting at 0. The horizontal line is the x-axis and the vertical line is the y-axis. And then mark points at equal intervals along x-axis and write the names of the data items whose values are to be marked. Yeah, can you hear me?
They can hear you, but there is somebody, I don't know who is giving us that feedback. Okay, go ahead. I am hearing you clearly. Yeah, but the people in the back are giving you time, okay? Kahunga Charity. Kahunga Charity. Kahunga Charity. Because I think I will have lost an already. Kahunga. Kahunga, do you hear me?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, go ahead. Yes.
How to draw a line graph. I also
Mhm.
have the same explanation with PAL. So like you draw the horizontal and vertical axes. Then on the horizontal one, maybe there are fruits, you put mangoes, oranges, pineapples, something like that. And on the vertical axis, you put the scale that you've used, maybe 10, 20, 30, as it goes on. Then if the first item is mangoes, and maybe mangoes are 10, you put, yes, something like a star or a dot on 10, but on the vertical axis exactly, like on that vertical line exactly. Then if the next fruit is pineapples, and maybe pineapples are 30, then you mark where 30 is, but in line with the pineapples. Then after you draw a line from the dot of mangoes, which is 10, to the dot of pineapples, which is 30. Then if the next fruit is oranges and they are like 20, you put a dot in line with 20, but still in line with oranges. I don't know if you get it. Then after that, you connect the line from the dot from pineapples to oranges. Yeah, you go on like that. I think that's the way it is done.
Teacher.
Okay, thank you for that. Thank you so much. Yes. Yes.
I
Yes.
wasn't
Yes.
done, then I was
Yes.
muted. Should I reset?
Okay. Go ahead. Because there was feedback. Okay, that's why I think you are muted.
Should I repeat the whole thing?
Now?
Yeah, should
Just
I repeat
continue
the
where
whole
you stopped. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I'm giving you one minute. 1 minute. Nalule.
Along the y-axis, choose appropriate scale considering the given values. Now mark the points. Then each point with a successful point using a ruler, hence a line graph is obtained.
Okay. Thank you. Yes. Mrs. Sebiyangi.
Yes, Mr. Semogere.
Are we set? Are we ready?
Very ready.
Okay, go ahead. I've been waiting for you.
Okay. Theo, please help us and make Mr. Nashmall a co-host. Good morning, girls. Mr. Semogere has taken us through drawing a bar graph, drawing a pie chart, and we've had at least 2 people explaining to us how we are supposed to draw a line graph. And probably this is the last item that we're going to look at for senior 1 for now, but we shall continue with statistics even in the other years till we finish our S4. So today I want to look at how to draw a line graph, and I want to appreciate the 2 people who have taken us through the drawing of a line graph. You are actually on the right track, and therefore we are not going to waste a lot of time.
Mrs. There are 4 people.
There are 4 people. Oh,
I
beg your pardon. There are 4 people who have taken us through. Please, thank you very much. So want to look at how to draw a line graph, but just give me a few seconds. Mr. Mangin is doing something very fast.
Girls, as we're waiting for Mr. Mangin to set up the gadgets, can you give me the advantages of using statistics in geography?
Mr. Semogele, we are ready.
Yes, we are ready. Okay, thank you.
So can they see the board? Are we able to see the board?
Yes.
So when you look at the statistics we have today, last week we used the different dormitories in Gayaza High School. And today I've only picked one dormitory, and that is Fox House. We are showing their GAPA results in drama for since 2011 to 2016. That is how they have been faring in drama, okay? And we're going to use that information to draw a line graph. Last week when we were drawing a bar graph, we said you must draw both the vertical and the vertical and horizontal axes. And exactly that is what you start with. Using a graph paper, okay? You're supposed to use a graph paper when you're drawing these different graphs. After drawing the horizontal axis, you find a scale, okay? Find a scale. For example, right now, we have our results in percentage form, okay? This is how Cox was performing. First of all, we're looking at them having 76. They improved to 91, to 93. Then in 2014, they dropped to 86. 2015, they further dropped to 54, which was really a low score. And now we are seeing them improving to 79 in 2016. So using that information, now that we know we have our results in percentage, the percentage ranges between what and what? 0 and what? Mr. Semogele, I'm seeing Mugabe Michelle.
Yes, Mugabe Michelle, Mugabe.
I was going to answer the uses of statistics.
Okay, you answer that one at the end of the lesson. Okay?
At the end, for now,
At
so
the
if we
end,
talk about percentage, what comes to your mind? What is the highest score?
100%.
100.
100%.
Okay, so that means when you are dealing with your vertical axis and the scale that you are going to use, it has to go up to 100%. Is that clear? So in this case, can someone suggest for us the scale that we can use? Remember, we begin from 0. The vertical scale starts from 0.
Kisembo, do you have an answer for that? Oh. Okay, Tendo, do you have something to say?
We can use a scale of 1 unit equal to
1 unit or 1 centimeter?
Tendo, you're not
equal
clear?
to 5.
Equals to 5, okay?
5, okay.
So someone is saying we can use 5. Another person?
Atukunda.
We can use 1 centimeter represents 10%.
10%.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other person?
Yes,
So we have 5, we have 10.
Teacher?
Yes.
I actually had a question about what we're doing.
Okay.
I'm still kind of confused. How do you get the scale? What's the principle of getting the scale?
What's the point of getting the scale?
Principle behind getting the scale.
The principle of getting the scale. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to be answered. Why should we use a scale? Somebody's asking. Can I have somebody to answer?
It's not why, it's how do we get it?
Why?
How do we get a scale?
Yes. How do we get
How
it?
do we get a scale? Okay, thank you.
Do you go ahead to answer, or we get someone from the girls?
I expect the girls to give us the answer. One of the girls to give us the answer.
Okay.
Ndagano
Teacher,
Queen. Yes.
So according to the differences, like we have 91, 93, and like we can't use like 2. We we have to use like one, depends like on the differences between the numbers.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
thank
let
you.
Mr. Mangin summarize that to save time.
Okay, Mr. Mangin.
When you are, any statistical graph must be consistent. And therefore, if you are given data, that data is not uniform, it's not the same. But you need to get a consistent scale starting from zero.
Amaka, just a minute. Amaka, can you mute your microphone? Amaka? Amaka?
Just relax, just relax.
Okay, okay.
We are going to handle. So,
Continuous.
you are given data, and that data is ranging from 0 up to infinity. It can be as big as the biggest figure. And this scale should be consistent. So I'm giving you the range. Then I will give you why and how to get the scale. When you are given data, for easy manipulation of the table, it should be within the range 1, 2, 2.5, 5. It can be 10, 20, 25, 50. It can be 100, 200, 250, 500. It can be 1,000, 2,000, 2,500, 5,000. You can see the figures I'm giving. So if you are given data, your graph, a bar graph, a line graph, should be in the range of 5 to say 15 centimeters on the vertical scale.
These ones here.
They should be 5, not less than 5, neither should it be more than 15. Because if it is less than 5, it is going to be a very small graph. It's going to be very small. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a blackboard. It's not a graph paper. So imagine on a graph paper, you can count with me. So it should be ranging between 5 and 15. And if it is over and above 15 centimeters, it is going to be very long.
And
it may not even cover the what? The graph. Dear friends who have the right, we kindly request that if you see a person in the waiting room, don't admit that person. There are reasons we put them in the waiting room. Kindly leave them in the waiting room till they do what we want.
Okay, sir.
Now, when you are given the figures, the way we have these figures here, what you need to do is to look at the highest figure. The other girl was asking how. I am answering you. You get the highest figure in the table. This may be in tons, it may be in millions, it can be in a percentage. So you get the highest figure and you divide it with the number of centimeters you want your scale, your graph to be. If you want your graph to have the highest bar or point of a line to be at 10, you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. you get the highest figure here. And you divide it by 10, which is 93 by 10. Now, after getting the division, you will round off for consistency and easy manipulation or calculation. You check for that figure which you have got. Round it to fit within these ranges. For example, if you get 9.3, 9.3, I make it to be what? To be 10. And therefore, I am going to have 0, 10, 20. By the time I plot the 10th unit, I will have covered 93. And if I'm covering 93, which is the highest, the biggest figure, it means I have also covered the smallest figure in the table, because these figures are running from 0 to the highest. Therefore, the smallest figure will be found along, because even if it is less than 1, it will be, even if it is less than 1, it will be between 0 and 1. So if you look at this, using this data, 2021, you look for the smallest figure or score, it was 54. And if you come here, you will have plotted 10, 20, 30.
Just a minute, Mr. Nasumoro, can you respond to the information in the chat?
So if I am, girls, be guided that this is our graph paper. This is our graph paper. From here up to here is 1 centimeter.
Mr. Semogere, I'm not seeing any information in the chat.
Okay.
We are using this illustration because the graph paper is too small to be visible to you. So from here up to here is 1 centimeter. We are saying that in geography, we plot on 1 centimeter and we state the scale on 1 centimeter. So if this was my 0, my 10 would be here. I think you have seen what teacher Flavia has done. So let us count together. I have got my scale as 10. I want to know how much of the 100% was in each square. So if I want to know the percentage at this point, 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 it means, oh, I throw it back to you guys. Of this 10%, from 0 to 1 centimeter, it is representing 10%. How much of this 10% is in 1 unit? Anybody to answer that? Our default, talk to us.
Teacher, you put that 10 out of the number of those very tiny squares. I think there are 5 there. So you put 10 out of 5, which will give you 2, which means each of those tiny, very tiny squares is representing 2.
Our default love you. And our default, you are going to teach your friends. Now, I want to plot these figures, girls, so easily. So by me giving these figures, it is going to be very easy for me to get the units accurately in 1 square here. So if I want to, teacher Flavia, plot, erase this one, and this one. Put here 70, put here 80. we are just using an illustration. So I want to plot, for example, 2011 on my scale here. Now, 2011, Cox got 76 in grammar. I want to show someone to illustrate it on a graph. So this is 70, but I want 76. I know 76 is between 70 and 80, but where is it exactly here? Our default has told us that each unit has got only 2%. So 70, I add 1 unit, which is it? That unit is having 2%, meaning I have 72. I add the second unit, 74. I add the third unit,
76.
Therefore, are you seeing? Let us take on these questions from Chirabo Power. Chirabo, unmute.
Teacher, I wanted to explain.
Okay, go ahead and explain.
No, I had wanted to explain how you get the 76.
Okay.
You get, I think you
get. We want you to take us through 2011. How am I going to get 2012, brother? So, teacher Flavia, change this to be 90, change this to be 100. I want to thank you. Over to you, teacher Flavia. I want to, unfortunately, I don't know the girl who asked, I don't know whether I have helped her and the others. May I talk to you?
Yeah, it is me, Chirabo Hope Eunice.
It is Chirabo Hope now?
Eunice.
Chirabo Hope Eunice, 1K. Yes. Go ahead and talk to us.
Yes, teacher. On what you've explained, why do we divide the 93 divide by 10? What does the 10 represent?
What 10? The number of centimeters. I said that the centimeters should be between 5 and 15 on the graph paper. And you choose the number of centimeters you would like to use. It means that each and every person is going to have her own centimeters and her own scale.
So it must not
if
go
you
beyond
use 10, they should not go beyond 15. Neither should they be less than 5. The smallest should be 5 and the highest should be 15.
Okay, yeah.
So another person can decide to use 5. For example, if I got 93, I will divide it by 5 because I want only to use 5 centimeters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you divide. What do you get? I want Chirabo Hope.
Chirabo, what do you get? Chirabo, Eunice? What do you have?
Oh, someone.
2 questions.
We get, let me see.
Any other person who can answer that?
18.6.
18.6. So if you get 18.6, let us get our scale here. 18.6, it is not within this category. 18.6 is within this category. Is that okay?
Yes.
But 18.6 is not near 10. 18.6 is near 20. Therefore, I'm going to have my scale as 20, 40, 60.
Thank you. I've understood. Thank you.
And now, if I am having my scale as 20, if I'm having my scale as 20, 0, 20, how much of that percentage is in 1 unit?
1 unit is 4%.
4%. You see how it becomes easy now to play around with the data?
Yes, thank you, teacher.
There are some 2 questions in the chat room. Okay, we can take on these hands. The first one is the Juweji.
Teacher, those numbers of 1, 2, 2.5, 5, 10, 20, what do they mean?
The range of the scale. So is you don't put 10.5. Don't put it in decimal points. It is going to be very hard for you to calculate the decimals. So it is much better you deal with whole numbers. It is very hard to get a scale which requires you to have a raw data here, which requires you to have the scale in this range. So this is just one way, the easiest way of calculating the scale and getting the accurate point. Because we can easily divide these figures by what? By 5, and we get what is 1 in 1 unit.
Gabriela, can you make your question clear? It's not clear. Gabriela, go ahead and ask your question. Gabriela, are you there? Abuze.
Now, can we take on travel terms? It's not there.
I had wanted to answer your question. When I had been chosen, I had wanted to explain the other question, but then it was already explained. So you asked me for the one of 2012, and there was 90 and 100. So 2012 has 91%, and since each small square was representing 2%, I think we get 90, like we 90, and then
that is Paul, just a moment. We are dealing with, which year are you talking about?
2012. Yes.
And
it's 91.
How many squares are you using?
Sorry? I'm using the same.
Okay,
where
okay,
one small square represents 2%. 2%.
Okay.
Yes. So I think after 90, we do not reach the end of the first box. We stop in the middle. Since the end of the first box represents 92, so we get, yes, half of the first box.
Now we move to the next level.
There is a question which I don't understand, Mr. Mamin.
Which one?
The somewhere else, we haven't understood the centimeter bit. It is not clear.
Excuse me, teacher.
Yes.
I didn't understand what she was explaining about dividing 93 by 10 and not going beyond 15 and not below 5. I didn't understand what she was explaining to Eunice.
Okay.
You did not understand how to divide 93 by 10. I said you have a graph paper.
Okay.
And this graph paper has squares. So me, I want to use 10 centimeters. My graph to be as long as 10 centimeters. Another one may feel like having a graph of 15 centimeters. Therefore, if for you want to use 10 centimeters, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Get the highest figure and divide it by 10. You don't need that feedback. So my highest, the biggest figure in the graph is 93. I want to use how many squares? I want to use, for example, I want to use 5 centimeters. So I divide by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want my graph to be as long as 5 centimeters. So you divide this. What do you get? I want that girl who is saying she did not understand.
Excuse, we can't see your video. It's off.
Are you sure?
Yes.
When
How
people
come
are
I
saying,
can see you.
I can see.
Can you guide your friend how to get the video?
so what do we do here? Hello?
Get 18.6.
18.6. I gave you the range. So 18.6, we have 10, 20, 25, 50. So this one falls within this range here. And where is it exactly near? Is it near 10 or 20?
Near 20.
And therefore, that is going to be my scale. So I will have on a scale of 1 centimeter, 0, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. By the time I plot the 50 centimeter, I have covered the highest figure in the table. And therefore, 93 is between 80 and 100. While the smallest figure, which is 954, is between 40 and 60.
In other words, you are actually trying to make good use of your graph paper. You want to balance your graph paper. Remember last week we said you must use at least 3/4 of your graph paper. By the way, if you divide by 5, those who would want their graph paper to have only 5 centimeters on the vertical axis, you're going to find that your graph is very small. Probably you have not even used half of that graph paper. Yet we are saying minimum of 3/4. Okay? So the 10 centimeters, the 15, we are saying you can even count how many centimeters do you have on your graph paper. That can also guide you to know that this is the space I want to use, and therefore I should, to find my scale, these centimeters should guide me.
Now,
okay?
Excuse me, teacher.
Yes.
Thank you, teacher.
Your screen is not visible.
Your gadget has a problem. The rest of us, we are seeing the screen.
Okay, this is what you can do.
Okay, can you listen? Can you listen to Mr.
What you can do? Which gadget are you using?
I'm using a laptop.
A laptop.
Then by now,
on the screen.
You see where you see the person sharing the screen. That's why you need to double click, or you just click there and pin.
Is it clear now?
Teacher, I had pinned. Then after some time, I started not seeing anything on the screen.
Then it is your network. Then it is your network.
It's not her network. That happened to me too, but though.
Okay.
Auntie, listen.
Listen. Okay.
That happened to me.
Okay.
Somebody spotlighted some Flavia, I think. But when I went to the gallery, I checked for Mr. Mageni video. Then I double clicked. I just put a pin, and then that's all.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Teacher, I also faced the same problem, and what the reason was because we could hear Mr. Mageno's voice in the icon of Teacher Flavia. Yeah.
Girls, in the interest of time,
okay,
we have only 10 minutes, and I'm winding up with this. Someone wants to know now how to play around with this. If I have used the 20, Teacher Flavia, we have used the 20, so I have 80 Yes, 80 and 100. I have 80, 100, like from here and here. And what do I want to plot? I want to plot 91. I'm talking to that girl who said doesn't know how to calculate here. We know that from here up here is 1 centimeter. 1 centimeter is representing 20. But how many units are there? They are 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now in each unit, how much of this one of the 20 is in each unit? It is a 4. So if I want to look for 84, I just add 1 unit, and I have 84. I add another one, 80, 88. I add another one, 92. I add another one, and I have my 100 there. Now, if I want 91, where is it? 91 is between 88 and 92, because 91 is below 92. Have you seen what Peter Serian has done?
Okay, can we continue, please? How do we plot? Or before we go to plotting, we have looked at the vertical axis, how to find a scale, and then putting your figures. Remember, we said you must label the axis and you must label horizontally. In this case, we are having GAPA results, grammar results actually. Grammar results in percentage. Are you seeing that? And it should be written horizontally. Then we go to the horizontal scale. Mr. Mangin, want to see the horizontal scale? Are we seeing it? This one, we are saying you write the years. So in between, remember this is our sample of the graph paper that we're using. So in between we have from 0 to 5. This is where our centimeter is, okay? So you go on marking where that big box is, okay? This time you're not writing the years on that line that you have marked off, but you write it between the 2 lines, the vertical line, and then where we have the line for the 1 centimeter. So I say 2011. Are you seeing that? In between the 2 lines. Then 2012, still in between. This time we're not leaving any space like we did for the bar graph. Okay? This is what we are seeing.
It's clear.
So this is what we are saying. You write in between those centimeters that you have marked off. And again, we are saying you must label and say, these are years. Are we together at that level? Almost what we did for the bar graph. Now the most important part is how do we plot to come up with a line?
Sorry, can you use 10?
Can I use?
Use 10, not 20.
Oh, okay. Okay, so we're using a scale of 10%. So when it comes to plotting, I want to draw this sample box here. And we're saying this is where our 2011 lies. Okay?
Do something that is bigger for this session.
They can't see it properly. Oh. This is 2011. So when it comes to plotting, You identify, for example, 2011, we said it was 76. So if this is 70, and then this is 80. Using our boxes, we said each represents, was it 2? Yes, 2, 2, okay? So when I want 76, that means it would be, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, okay? So 1, 2, 3. That means my 76 would be here. But you are going to plot in the middle of that bar, in the middle of those two lines. Okay? That is where you're going to put a small star.
Let them use
a point. A star.
A dot.
Okay, use a dot, okay? You're going to put a dot. You should be able to see your dot because you would again have to use it. But please, the technique here we are saying you plot in between, in the middle of the box. Oh, you want me to use this one?
Yes.
So if, for example, this is our 70, and then this is 80, okay? On our graph paper, we are and we have our 2000 here, 2011. So we're saying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the midpoint for these two would be between, it would actually be 2.5, okay? So I'm saying 1, 2. So between this third box, that is where our midpoint is. And we know our 76 is on this line, okay? So I would plot here to represent a dot. Forgive me, I'm used to a star, okay? So you put there a dot. We have plotted in the middle of this, not at the start and not at the end point. Is that clear? Tendo has a question.
The hand has been up for almost.
It has been up.
Can take us to the next one. And
so when we look at 2012, where we have 91. So if this is 90 and then 100.
And 80, each unit is 2. So we are looking for
91.
91. 91.
For 2012. So if we're to look for 91 for 2012, I'm saying this is supposed to be 92. So it has to be in between the box for 90 and 92. Recording in progress. So I again come to this, and I'm saying in the middle of 2012. So I say 1, 2, the third one, I take the midpoints. And then I plot, okay? Going back to this one, where we don't have the squares, so we're saying 2012 is 76. And we are plotting in the middle. 2012 is 91. Um, 2013 is 93. 93. 2014, maybe, let me just come down. We have 86. 2014. Okay, so those are the points that we have. I'm not going to finish the entire graph because that is going to be your assignment. So when it comes, we have 1, 2, 3, and then 4 points. I hope we are all seeing them. So now you have to join those points for you to be able to form a line. Hence, a line graph. And what do we use to join? What are we going to use to join these points? Can someone suggest to us?
A ruler and pencil.
Okay, so we're going to use a ruler to join these points. Please do not use your free hand. Otherwise, it will not be a line graph. I hope you are seeing what I'm using.
Sticky.
I'm using a stick.
Hey.
Okay. Make sure you don't use a stick. Okay. So that is how you're going to join your points using a ruler. And please, the line should be suspended. When we say the line should be suspended, you should not connect it to the 2 vertical lines. I hope that is clear. And hence that is our line graph. I don't know how much time we have, but there's someone with a question.
Nachogana, go ahead.
Sure, I was asking, also
Yes.
joining all, like plotting all of them and we join. I was supposed to draw an arrow at the end because I usually see them like when they're presenting.
No.
So we just
No,
leave it like that after.
Yes.
Oh, but
yes.
you copy this information this side.
Okay.
Today, okay.
This side, okay?
Okay. Well, it is what if? It is what if? Yes.
So how are you supposed to know, like what if you exchange it and then 2011, the one where 2000 is in the place of 2016?
No, you're not supposed to exchange.
Okay.
The layers should be uniform. That way they appear in the table.
Nanyazi.
Yes, teacher.
Okay. Ask your question.
I'm seeing here that in 2014 the percentage score is 86. And how can I indicate it? 86 and 76. How do I indicate them?
How do you indicate them? What do you think? Nanyaz, what do you think? Nanyazi, how to say?
Nanyaz, we have explained that thing like 4 times. That is why we are throwing it back to you. So please find out how do you get the 86 on your graph paper.
Gwenji.
Excuse me, teacher.
Yes.
Teacher, why don't we, when we are starting to draw, why don't we begin the line from 0? Show that it goes up to 76.
No, you're not supposed to start from 0 because our starting point is a 76. Okay, so we're not supposed to start from 0.
So we started counting from 0. We started counting up to 70 from 0.
Remember, it is in between 2011. So it can't start from 0 because I've already started. That's why you have moved up to 76. So you plot where up 76.
And there's code 0. Even a newborn will count months till we get to a year.
Apio?
There's no year with a 0.
Apio?
Teacher,
Yes.
I was asking, do you always have to put the dot between the third line?
Yes.
Yes, because that is the midpoint of that bar.
That yeah.
Of those 2 lines of that year.
No, I'm saying on the example of how the graph book looks like, you always pointing to the mid of the third line where the years are.
Yes, when you, for example, here, you're seeing this. This is 2011. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boxes. So what is the midpoint of the 5 boxes?
The mid of the third box.
The mid of the third box. So that is why we're using that. Maybe to help her a little, it depends on your scale. If you've used the 5, the mid of the third point is the midpoint. If you've used 10, then the 5 will be the midpoint. Exactly. But we want to encourage them to use 1 centimeter till probably they can get used to, and they upgrade to using 2 centimeters and so on.
Charity, please, we have run out of time. Can you say
Yeah,
something?
I'm asking that can a line graph also be called a line plot?
A line graph, so called what? A line plot?
A line plot.
For geography, it's supposed to be a line graph, okay?
It's a line graph, okay. Hope.
I have 2 questions. Is the line graph supposed to have a title?
Yes.
Yes.
It is a must.
And the title should state, or you should begin and say a simple line graph showing Cox-Gapper results in drama.
Okay.
Till the end, okay?
Yes. And the other question is, why do we put the dot in the middle? Yeah, that's the second question.
Why should we put it?
Mr. Mangen is responding to that.
Mr. Mangen, you have one minute, 1 second.
Change the point in the middle. Reason, this is a year. A year has got 12 months. Therefore, the midpoint is in June. So you cannot plot at the beginning to show that that is the year, neither can you plot at the end to show that is the year. You put it in the middle.
So Chira, is it clear now?
Yes.
Okay.
Girls, for attending the lesson. I want to wish you.
Can you repeat?
Yes. Mr. Mangen, can you repeat yourself?
Mr. Mangen repeat that he was low.
Mr. Mangen, can you repeat yourself?
I say,
okay.
Is there any girl who can explain?
Just in one second.
Mr. Samoge, I hope they have copied the table because they'll have to draw a line graph in their books.
Mr. Mangen, you have 1 second because we have run out of time.
That we want the midpoint, the middle of the year. And what is the middle of the year?
June.
The year has got 4 months. And therefore, we plot in the middle. You can't plot at the end of 2011 because that is the beginning of 24. The end of 2011 is the beginning of 2012. So if you put along that line,
thank you, everybody. Yes.
Excuse me, teacher. Do we have to write a scale at the end? Maybe 1 centimeter equals 20%.
Yes, not equals, representing. So you're supposed to have the title, the writings, and the scale. Are we clear? So thank you everybody for attending. Have a lovely day and
Goodbye.
Okay. Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you for the lesson.
Bye.
Thank you, teacher, for the lesson. Bye.
Thank you for the lesson.
Thank you for the lesson. Bye. Bye.
Thank you for the lesson.
Bye.
Bye.
See you. Mr. Mangeni, say bye.
Bye, everyone.